Alright, so today I will be surviving 200 days in hardcore Minecraft. And if you haven't already watched me survive my first 100 days, be sure to go watch that, then come back for this one. In this video, I really want to challenge myself again. You know, really push the limits. So, in these 200 days, I will be finding a woodland mansion, surviving a pillager raid, and killing the wither. So, if you guys like this video, please be sure to that like button, subscribe, and also follow my Twitch. And with that, let's just jump into it. Days 100 through 103. I have a ton of XP left over from killing the Ender Dragon, so I decided to get a bunch of sugarcane so that way I could make books, because I was going to enchant books to give my items better enchantments. So I gave my sword a nice base enchantment, so I could use a sharpness book to apply that later. Plus, I would be able to use the extra enchantments from the books I was getting to better improve like my bow and pickaxe and stuff like that. So all of the bad enchantments that I didn't really like, I simply disenchanted them so that way I could enchant them again. Unfortunately, I did use all of my XP levels, so I did have to use my XP grinder to finish off. But eventually I did get a sharpness 4 book, so I decided to go ahead and apply that to my sword, and that's my sword that I have. And like I said, had a bunch of books left over, so I was able to make a really good pickaxe and a really good bow. My armor was good for now, so I decided to leave it at that. I was already here for a few days, so I wanted to move on to some bigger and better things. Day 104, I was running low on food, and I didn't really need my sheeps anymore, because I really only wanted them for the beds to help me like at the end and in the nether for mining and such. So I just decided to use my new sharpness sword to kill all of them for my cooked food. And I decided to go ahead and open up the pen so that way I could further expand my cows, so that way I could kill them in the future for better food. After that was done, I decided to go get some more wood because I wanted to do some trading with my villagers. So I was going to use the wood to get sticks to trade with a Fletcher villager. The primary reason I wanted the emeralds from the Fletcher trader is that way I could get more mending books to apply to all of my tools. So after that was done, as you can see, we have more than enough wood to trade with the Fletcher to get all of the emeralds I need for my mending books. Day 105, 106, when I went to go find my librarian, I found that they had died, so I needed to make a new one. And while I was at it, I decided to go ahead and trap another villager to make them a Fletcher. So that way I could just have the librarian and the Fletcher right next to each other. But as you can see, this stupid villager was giving me some troubles. That's going to be a common thing you're going to see in this video, is villagers giving me troubles. He eventually did get into the pit with the other villager. I wanted him in the other hole, but eventually I did get them separated, and now I needed to get a mending book from this librarian. It's pretty simple. All you have to do is break and replace the lectern until you eventually get your mending. And eventually I did get it. And he only wanted 12 emeralds for that mending book, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it. I was so excited for this. So I decided to go ahead, again, trade all of these sticks for some emeralds, and as I was doing that, I tried to make more sticks and accidentally made a stack of buttons. So that's wonderful that I wasted all of my time to get that wood just for buttons. Yay. But I did continue to do some trading. He eventually didn't want to trade with me anymore, so I just quickly got mending from him, and I went searching for the other Fletcher in my village. I knew he was around here somewhere. I eventually found him. I was going to do a little bit of trading with him. This stupid Enderman apparently didn't like that, so I got rid of him. I used my initial mending book to go ahead and apply that to my elytra, so that way I could fly around and those would never break. A little bit more trading, and I was able to get 2 more mending books. I applied that to my axe because it was half broken, and I applied the other one to my sword because I knew I'd be using that consistently. Day 107, I decided to go ahead and break all of the wheat I had at my base here, so that way I could continue breeding all of my cows, and I decided to go ahead and take a look at all of this, and I came to a realization. Villagers don't live here anymore. They don't need houses. So I decided to break all of this out so I could flatten it all, and I could put whatever the heck I wanted here in the future, because again, no villagers, they don't need houses, I don't need them, so yeah, just say bye to these few houses. I didn't break them all because I like the kind of decoration of having the villager houses there. Kind of has a nice aesthetic to it, but these few in front of my house, I got rid of, and like I said, there was just this one raised area of grass, so I went ahead, flattened all of that out, and man, I love an efficiency netherite shovel. It is insane. This is what it looks like cleared out, and so yeah, I can go ahead and add a farm, and really whatever I want later. Day 108 and 9, I wanted to go ahead and make a brewing stand for potions, because I knew I was going to need those in the future for things like killing the wither and getting the wither skeletons. So I went ahead and prepared to go to the nether, because I really needed 2 things from there. I needed the nether wart to start my farm, and if I was going to have a nether wart farm, I might as well give it its own room. So being here enabled me to go ahead and grab some decoration blocks I needed for its own room. And also just clearing out this entire area, so that way it would be a lot easier to farm wither skeletons, really give them more room to spawn. So once I grabbed all of that, I was back home, and I just decided to dig out the corner of my storage room here, and I really didn't need it that big or really that fancy, just kind of a super small, cozy little area to go ahead and fit that. I don't want to bore you with all of that, so just skip, and this is what it looks like in the end, and it looks super sick. I absolutely love this. After that, I went ahead and slept to bring us to days 110 through 117. I decided to do more trading, but I found that my librarian had mysteriously died. Again, I lost yet another librarian, and a really good one at that. So I decided I need to improve my process, so I went ahead and made this little caged area here where I would eventually be able to trap several different villagers, hopefully preventing them from ever dying again. So I had a plan, and that plan was I was gonna make my way out to a swamp, kill some slime for the slime balls, ride my way all the way back home, turn those into leads, take Pongo, make our way to another village to find some more villagers, and use the lead on them to bring them home. But you can't use leads on villagers. I don't know why this is a surprise to me. I should have assumed that, but yeah, that was a waste of time. So I came up with another idea. Break my current nether portal so I could move it to a different location. I found this neat little cave right next to my base, so I decided, hey, this is as good a place as any, so I made that and went ahead and hopped in. And the plan was I was going to build another nether portal in the nether, that's a tongue twister, which would lead me directly to the new village, but the problem was I needed to build the portal over some lava, so I had to get some netherrack to build a base, so that way I could build the portal. I went through, crossed my fingers, hoped it worked out, and hey, it did. I went right to the other village. I decided quickly to sleep, so that way none of the zombies would kill my villagers here, and once I did that, I just needed to quickly build a trail from one nether portal to the other, again, so that way I could lead the villagers. But the problem was, you know, you can't use leads. So I decided to go to the mineshaft where I found the name tag for Pongo, so that way I could grab myself all of these rails, so that way I could make a minecart system leading from one portal to the other to quickly just ship the villagers from one village back to my base. After that was done, I had a ton of gold blocks. I literally have no idea where all these gold blocks came from. It's a mystery. I genuinely don't know, but hey, I was able to use those to make a ton of powered rails to help improve my system and go ahead and speed it up. As I was doing that, this stupid ghast started attacking me and I didn't want him to break my rails, so I decided to kill him. And apparently, if you reflect a fireball into a zombie pigman, they don't like that. They count as that as attacking you. I didn't know that, so now I had like 50 zombie pigmen all at me. Luckily, they couldn't figure out how to climb my staircase that I made. I tried to do a bunch of stuff like logging out, going through the portal, coming back, hoping they wouldn't be mad at me anymore, and none of it worked. So I decided to dig like 100 blocks away from them, hoping they would forget. But no, they didn't forget. Literally nothing I did would make them forget. So I figured, hey, if they can't figure out how to get to me where I am right now, I might as well use this Power 5 bow to my advantage and literally just kill all of them. I mean, there's a finite amount of piglins. And as you can see, yeah, I eventually did kill all of them. So that way I could get on my merry way of creating my nice roller coaster system for my villagers. I used a boat to quickly lure one of the villagers into the portal and got him to the other end. He tried to escape a little bit, but with a little bit of coaxing, I eventually got him into the minecart, but oopsie doopsie, you're going the wrong way. Wrong way there, buddy. There you go. That's the right direction. And it led him right to the nether portal to bring him back to my base. So that was really nice. On days 118 and 119, I struggled very much so, very much so, just to get him to his new spot. He eventually did walk up himself, so that was nice. These dumb pillagers started attacking me. I didn't want them to kill my villager, so I went ahead and just killed him so I wouldn't have to deal with that. And yeah, I then went on my way of bringing the villager to my base. And you know, I kind of forgot that my base is actually, you know, at a village. So as you can see here, once I got close enough, I accidentally started a raid that I was not in any way, shape, or form prepared for. This was a complete accident. I was panicking. I knew I needed to get to this villager to safety, so I quickly tried to get him to his new home where I could lead him there. But then he decided to walk away. I'm like, what are you doing? I wanted to protect you, but now I didn't know what to do. So I went into my base. I quickly got rid of all my inventory, grabbed all the supplies I needed for a raid really quick. I didn't have any of my potions ready, so I decided to use my golden apples. That's all I could do, and I decided to start taking on the raid. I had no idea what to expect during this raid either. I have never ever in my life ever completed a raid in Minecraft. I've never even so much as watched a YouTuber complete a raid. I came across this giant rhino thing. I honestly didn't even know this thing was in the game. I've seen pictures of it. I thought it was a mod that people used. I didn't know this was a legit mob in the game. But yeah, I'm learning, and it's really genuinely fun and kind of scary having these weird ghost phantoms things chase you and spells being cast at you. So I kind of just hid on the roof here and used my bow to take out all of these pillagers. They for some reason got stuck on this door to the librarian. There wasn't even a villager in there. I don't know why they were stuck, but it made my job easier. Use my power 5 bow to take out the rhinos, quickly kill this witch, and that was the last one. Hero of the village. I survived the raid pretty easily. Again, mostly because I cowered and just used my bow at a range so that way none of them could hurt me. So I went ahead and slept, and that brought us to day 120 through 127. I needed a new villager because in that raid, they killed the one villager that I brought there. So I had to get a new one, and I wanted to do it really quick because I had Hero of the Village, which makes all trading cheaper. And as you can see, it was quite the process to get this villager here. I slept to avoid the nighttime, but then he came in my house after that. I don't know why. It was kind of scary. I didn't want him to get stuck in my basement, so I grabbed some blocks to block him off, and then sure enough, here he comes. I swear, these villagers hated me. They did whatever I didn't want them to do. It was so annoying. And as you can see through this little montage, it took me so very long, but I eventually did get him trapped. I could finally have myself a brand new librarian to get my mending. It was all fine. All was well. Except at this moment that I realized that I brought home a nitwit villager. For those unaware, nitwits cannot have jobs. They can't be librarians, they can't be anything. I couldn't believe I was this stupid. I forgot the one with the green coats are nitwits. This villager is useless to me. He can do literally nothing. He is pointless. He does not need to exist. I was so mad. Days 128 to 133, just go ahead and skip ahead. I got the villager eventually. It took so long. Eventually did get mending from him, but it was super expensive, so I needed to do more trading, more sticks for more emeralds to get the mending books. So I went to the old village, made a couple new Fletchers so I could just trade all the rest of the sticks that I had, and I used that plus all of the emeralds that I got from the raid, and I had more than enough emeralds to get me 4 more mending books. I went ahead and applied that to all of my 4 pieces of armor due to the fact that they were severely broken, and now I just needed some XP to go ahead and repair all of my armor. So I grabbed everything that I needed and I made my way out to my XP grinder just to go ahead and quicken up the process. Days 134 through 136, I decided to go mining. I primarily needed lapis lazuli, but I came across some diamonds, so I ain't mad at it. That was pretty nice. The reason I wanted the lapis lazuli for enchanting is because I wanted to get looting on my sword. That way when I killed the wither skeletons, there was a higher chance they would drop a wither skull. On day 137, I just basically spent all the day sorting my chests because again, I threw all of my excess stuff when the raid started in random chests, so it all needed to be sorted. So I just grabbed all of that out, sorted everything, burned what I didn't need, and I decided to go ahead and prepare to go to the nether. I wanted to find another bastion for more gold, mainly because I wanted to be able to make a bigger beacon in the future when I did kill the wither. So I was really just looking for another bastion for the gold, and plus also I would be able to do some trading so that way I can get some ender pearls and really some other supplies. After traveling for a while, I did find a bastion, and I wasn't really that scared because I had my full netherite armor, I had my netherite sword with all my sharpness, so I just sort of went in all willy-nilly, and you know, I saw a piglin and I said goodbye, piglin, but then things happened, and these, oh my gosh, am I actually gonna die? That does so much damage. I got down to 1 heart. My heart rate skyrocketed to well above 100. I was so scared in that moment. All of this, it all almost ended in that instance. I was down to 1 heart. So I just decided to calm down, not use my sword anymore, use my bow from safety, kill the rest of those little piglins, and now I could move on. And this was a bridges bastion. So at the end of this bridge here, there was a bunch of gold, grabbed all of that. And I knew there was going to be some extra gold hidden in the walls, but I didn't really feel like looking for that. And right as I was getting ready to go home, I noticed another bastion across the river here. Like, what are the odds in that? That's fantastic. So I just made my way down and went over there. And again, stayed at a height, stayed at a difference, killed everything with the bow. I wasn't risking anything from here on out. I was so scared. It was another bridges bastion. So I went ahead, grabbed all of the gold at the end of this bridge, and I knew there was some chests up in the other part. So I went searching for that, and I came across all of these piglins huddled down here. So I figured that's where the chest room was. Killed all of them, opened the chest, and I had some pretty good loot. Had some extra gold. Didn't really need the magma cream or the arrows because I had infinity, but it was all still pretty decent. I liked it. This was definitely a worthwhile trip. I got a lot of necessary supplies from all of this. So I made my way back home, and I decided to go to my base first, just that way I can get rid of all of my excess items and grab a double chest, so that way I could start trading with piglins. I took off my gold armor to make it easier to lure all of the piglins close in, so that way I could just trap them in this pit. I eventually got like 5 or 6 piglins in here, threw all of the gold in there, and within around 10 minutes or so, I eventually traded all of the gold for all of this loot. And as you can see, I didn't really get that many ender pearls from it, which is the main thing I wanted. You know, 5 stacks of gold, only enough for 1 stack of ender pearls, because I don't have the luck of some people. But yeah, I used one trip just to go ahead and move all of the potions back to my base. I then had to go back for all of the extra supplies, like the decoration blocks, the ender pearls, the armor, all of that, and I brought it all home. Finally, I was done with this silly little trip. It was definitely worth it, but very, very scary. Once I came home, I remembered that I had those shulker boxes, so I decided to make that into a portable shulker box, something that I've literally never made nor used before ever in Minecraft. And I decided to go ahead and just store some emergency supplies in here, like extra food, extra blocks, my ender pearls, arrows, stuff like that. So that was a very nice break from all of the stupid little villagers. But day 145 through 153, I decided it was finally time to complete this process, get all of the villagers trapped, so that way I could complete my trading. Because remember, I wanted to find a woodland mansion, and the way you do that is you trade with a cartographer villager, so that way he can give you the maps, the way you can find it. I eventually did refine my process of trapping the villagers to make it much more efficient and faster by just keeping them in the minecart. So all I simply had to do was change the rails from one area to the next. So that's exactly what I did, and it was easy peasy. And after quite a while, I eventually trapped 3 Fletchers, a librarian, and my cartographer, and I went ahead and started my farm as well because I was running low on my mutton, so I needed to continue breeding my cows as I ran out of wheat, so that way I could kill them and, you know, not run out of food and starve. I came across this extra wheat from the village here, grabbed that, so that way I could breed my cows because again, I ran out of wheat, couldn't breed anymore. So finding this extra wheat was really nice. Went ahead, replanted that, and bred the cows. They were getting close for me to be able to, you know, kill them to get all of the excess food that I needed, but I wanted to wait just a little bit longer. Days 144 through 145, I had another idea for a really cool project. So for this, I needed to grab a bunch of kelp. I went ahead, climbed my way up the mountain, and I started to make a tower. And I just towered my way right the way up to basically the build limit of 254 and just made a nice little base right up here, way up in the sky. Then climbing my way up, I placed the kelp in all of this, and that made every single one of these water blocks a source water blocks. That way when I was at the bottom and broke it, it created this nice little funnel system just to absolutely skyrocket me to the top. And just a few seconds flat, I was at the build limit. And the reason why I wanted to do this is so that way I could use my elytra and just get a huge height advantage whenever I wanted to fly away. I could use the rockets, but again, this was just a lot cooler. And plus it would save me the rockets, and just starting high up just made everything a whole lot easier and safer. So as you can see, that's what I did. I didn't have any rockets right now, so having this base just made it all super nice. And looking at everything from this high up, it doesn't look that big, and it doesn't look like I made much of a dent on this world. It's hard to believe it's been 150 days and this is really all I've done. It's quite a lot, but doesn't look like much. I like it though. It's super cool. I love elytras. They're really fun to play around with. Definitely one of the best additions Minecraft has ever made to the game. Day 156, now that my tower was completed, I had an easy way to eventually fly to my mansion once I had the map. So I traded with the cartographer. He needed to get up several levels before he would offer the map, so I traded the paper and I eventually ran out of paper, so I had to AFK for quite a while, which is what I did on days 157 through 161. I AFK'd to let all of my crops grow, including the wheat and the sugarcane, for more paper, for more trading, and for more breeding, and overall it was just a really good process just to go ahead and wait and stop working for a while. Days 162 through 164, my cartographer didn't quite have enough levels, but I noticed he did offer glass pane trades. I give him glass panes, he'll give me emeralds. So I went to the desert and grabbed a ton of sand so that way I could cook this and turn it into glass and glass panes and trade it with the cartographer so that way he could level up and I could go find my mansion. While all of the sand was cooking, I went ahead and learned how to actually brew potions, because again, it's been literally years since I've done this. I don't genuinely know what I'm doing, but I do remember you needed the nether wart, so I used that to create the awkward potions and the blaze powder to create strength potions and the glowstone to enhance it to strength 2. So I had those. I tried to extend the duration with the redstone, but that didn't work, unfortunately. I grabbed all of the glass that had started cooking and turned all of these into glass panes and trade them to my cartographer. And with that, I finally had him leveled up enough to get my map. I had way too many glass panes left over, but oh well. I could finally buy my map. All I needed was a compass, so I went to my base, crafted that, and I got my map. Taking a look at this, I knew I needed to head south and west. Days 165 through 172, I went ahead and did a little bit more AFKing so I can get more paper to make more rockets, because I knew that mansions generally spawn like at least 4,000 blocks out, and sure enough, this mansion I think was something like 10,000 blocks out. It took me an entire stack of rockets and nearly breaking my elytra just to get it in here. So I broke in, went ahead, started killing these pillagers, and I'm not gonna lie, I got a little scared because when I turned around and saw that, my goodness, they all brought me down to half HP. I ate my golden apple. I didn't think to bring any health potions because I didn't think mansions were gonna be this scary, but yeah, they are. They're pretty scary with all of these little pillagers hidden in here. I went outside so that way I could see where these vexes were spawning from, so that way I could find the one that was spawning them and kill them, because they were the things that were doing the most damage and being most annoying to me. So I killed him. Unfortunately, that wasn't the last summoner, so I had to yet again go outside. I think it was a couple more times just to see where they were being spawned from. I did get kind of scared from all of this, and I decided, you know what, heck with it. I ate my enchanted golden apple. I just stormed my way through, killed the rest of these little pillagers in my way, and in no time flat, this entire mansion was clear from all of the, scary mobs, and it's a good thing I ate the enchanted golden apple, because I probably would have died right there being attacked from all of these vexes. And I just have to say, this mansion was such a disappointment. There was a spawner in there, a spider spawner. I don't need that. I don't know why that's in there. Every single room here was pointless. I found one loot chest, which gave me a name tag, and that was it. That was literally the only thing in all of these rooms. I decided to grab the bookcases just so that way this wasn't a complete waste of a trip, even though I didn't really need the bookcases because I already had a level 30 enchanter. I found an entire room of chests and I opened every single chest, and there wasn't a single thing in any of these chests. Why in the world would Mojang make a room of chests but put nothing in the chests? I have to say, that is probably one of the most annoying things I've found with Mojang over the years, is they add these really cool, interesting structures like mansions and stuff like that, but they're pointless. there's really no need to come here, other than maybe the Totems of Undying, which you can get through a raid. But overall, this mansion is something that takes a lot of time to get the map needed and preparing to get here, and it just doesn't really feel worth it to me. It kind of felt like a little bit of a letdown exploring that, but I still did it nonetheless. And on my way home, I did come across a sunken ship with a treasure chest, and to be honest with you, the loot from the treasure chest was kind of more exciting than the mansion itself, which is silly considering treasure chests are dime a dozen. But I made my way home and I could sort all of my chests from my adventure, and once I did that, all of my cows were finally grown, so I just went ahead, killed them, left a little bit extra just in case I needed more food in the future, and that was that. Days 173 through 181, I decided I finally wanted to take on the Wither. So I brewed me some extra potions of healing, grabbed some fire resistance, went ahead, expanded the time on that so that way I could go into the nether, kill all these wither skeletons, not have to worry about fire, anything like that. Also made some strength so I could kill them really easily. As you can see, they really weren't much of a challenge. Again, I had the looting to make this a little bit easier, but unfortunately the sweeping edge hit the pigmen. Now I had pigments mad at me again. That was a whole ordeal. I decided to outsmart them and just create this little pit here and then trap them all in so I didn't have to worry about killing them, and I could just, you know, leave them in that pit, and it actually worked really well. I didn't have to kill any of them, just trap them. I then went on to kill all of the wither skeletons. I forgot to film the footage of me getting the first skull, but as you can see, it is in my hopper there. That is me getting the second skull, and I swear it was like 30 minutes later. I was getting so unlucky. I finally killed this wither skeleton and got my final skull, so I could go home and continue to prepare for the Wither. I made a bunch more healing potions. I really had no idea what to expect with the Wither. It's probably been a solid year and a half since I've killed the Wither in vanilla Minecraft, so I really wanted to be prepared with all of my healing potions and my strength 2 potions, just to, you know, really remain as safe as possible. And on top of that, I decided to go into a cave and then fill the ceiling of this little room here with a ton of obsidian so that way he could not fly away. And with that, I was finally prepared. So I drank my strength potion, ate my golden apple, put on that third little skull, and I was ready. Totem of Undying in hand, just in case. Splash potions ready, bow pointed, and I'll let you just go ahead and enjoy the fight here. And overall, that was a lot easier than I remembered it being. Last time I did that, I don't think I had any potions or golden apples or proper enchantments, but let me say, when you prepare properly, that is so easy. Days 183 through 185, once I made my way back home, I needed a couple more mending books for the rest of the tools that I had, so I traded some more glass panes, some more sticks, got some more emeralds, again, used the emeralds that I got from that mansion, and I got myself a couple more mending books. I applied that to my pickaxe and my shovel, as those were the only 2 things left that didn't have mending on them. So now all of my tools, all of my armor, literally everything would never break as long as I got some XP. I made the beacon, finally completed that, and I was able to use all of these extra gold blocks, which again, I have no idea where they came from, as well as all of my extra iron to create a nice base for the beacon. While sorting my chests, I realized I had some extra books that I could apply to my helmet, so I went down to my base, applied that really quick, and decided to apply Unbreaking to my elytra so I wouldn't have to worry about that in the future. On days 186 through 193, I got a bit of a strange idea. I've always wondered what it would be like just to mine out an entire chunk in Minecraft, so I slapped down that beacon, gave myself haste, grabbed all my tools needed, and just started mining out an entire chunk. But the entire process was taking a lot longer than I thought it was going to. I thought I would easily be able to mine out the entire chunk before my days ran out. But yeah, I was able to get this done after several days, and I decided, heck with that. I went down to Y16 and mined down from there, so that way I could get all of the diamonds that were in this chunk. Because I figured if I was gonna do this process, I might as well get at least a little bit rewarding out of this, but this is all that I got from mining out from Y16 and below. Not really that much loot. It took me how many days to do all of this, and I could have easily gotten triple this amount of loot if I just went through caves. and strip mine and stuff like this. Very boring process, very tedious, very pointless. I would not recommend. So I went back to the surface, applied my beacon up there, went ahead and used dirt just to fill in the bottom 2 layers, which I eventually need to use like iron or gold blocks, but I just went ahead and filled that in for now. Unfortunately, I don't have time in this video to get all of the necessary iron and gold to finish that, but I did smelt all of these items that I had here and sorted a bunch of my chests. And on days 194 through 198, I realized I really wanted to upgrade my house with all of these extra days that I had remaining before day 200, and the way I was going to do that was replacing the cobblestone roof with actual acacia blocks. I had a ton left over from breaking the acacia houses around my base, and just a ton of acacia wood just from occasionally mining it. After that, I still did not like the cobblestone stairs on the underneath part. I didn't want to make that also acacia blocks. I remembered that I had some quartz in my base, so I grabbed all of the quartz to make quartz blocks and quartz stairs, broke all of the cobblestone, and started replacing all of these underneath parts with quartz blocks, which I thought it would look really nice, contrasting all of the blackstone, and I was right. This looks nice. I like this. I'm no talented builder, but it looked nice. I wasn't a huge fan of the acacia trapdoors anymore. I thought it clashed with the roof, but I didn't really have time to replace it with anything else, and the inside still needs decorating, but again, I was sort of running out of time. As you can see here, we are on day 199. After sorting my chests, I realized it was actually really late. Like, I almost missed the sunset. So I really quick grabbed Pongo, and even though me and Pongo didn't go on too many adventures in this video compared to the last one, he has still been with me since literally day 1 of this entire series. 200 days in Minecraft, I have kept this pet horse. I have never kept a pet in Minecraft this long ever before. I raced my way up to the mountain, right my way to the same spot that I was after day 100 of Pongo, and I made it just in time for me and Pongo to watch the sunset on day 199. So I quickly raced my way home, and man, I have to say, I really didn't want to stop playing. I wanted to continue exploring, continue doing more, but I really needed to. So I made my way home, brought Pongo in, he got to sleep with me. So yeah, I slept. Brought me to day 200, and that's how I survived 200 days in Minecraft. I have to say, I am absolutely loving this series. I've never really expanded this much in Minecraft before. I've never done this much. It's super fun to me, and I hope you guys enjoy it too. If you do, please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.